And I thought, well, now what? I was so exhausted when I went to bed last night. But I woke up and I thought about if society were to collapse, my hair is like, I don't know. If society were to collapse, how many would be able to make it? And then I thought about the younger generation. The younger generation, I don't know if they would have what it takes to live off the land. If you had to literally go into survival instinct. Hello there, Mariana. If you had to go, Tina, hello. If you had to go into survival instinct, I know the older people would have a better chance with the, survival mentality and working hard, but I don't know about the younger generation. Like our children and then their children. I really don't know about it because they've grown up in a different age where technology, was front and center. I'm going to be honest, the majority do not know what it's like to work hard. Work hard. And no offense if you're a young person and you are a hard worker, no offense. I'm not meaning that, but I really don't know how many have the skill set to make it in a society that has collapsed. And you've got to learn how to use a garden hoe, and you've got to have the strength to use a garden hoe. You got to have the strength to work with your hands, and sometimes it's going to take hours. Could you imagine trying to you don't have no food and you got a plant and you has a ground and it's hard or it's got a lot of grass. Sometimes you're going to have to dig that grass out. It could take you, I don't know, it could probably take you 3 or 4 days just to even get all the grass up from an area. And you may not have the strength, you may not. And as you get older, if you're like me, you're realizing that your strength is not what it used to be either. The desire is there within you. Good morning, everyone. The desire is there within you, but the strength that you used to have is not there. And if you're looking on the younger generation who may be with you to help you, you might be out of luck. You really might, even if they live with you, because they may think, I'm not doing that. Forget it, because it's too hard of a work. And chances are they're going to want to do the very least possible. And sometimes some children, some young adults, would rather let their parents do all the work. If it's manual labor, anything like that, they'd rather you do it, even though they are fully capable, but they are not used to it and they don't want to do it, because just the mere thought of having to go out there and get a garden ready, use a garden hoe, and you're going to get blisters on your hands if you ain't used to using tools and stuff. Or even, you may be my age. You may be around 50 something or 40. And you got to go outside and you got to get a garden going, and you don't have the appropriate tools to do it either. You're going to get blisters. You ain't got no gloves or nothing like that. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. And I certainly hope that you got the endurance to do it, and don't give up, really. If you want to, it may get down to it, if you want to eat, and if you got some seeds or something you can plant, maybe some potato skins or something, or beans or something, that's what you might have to live off of. Then you got to maintain it. You got to keep the weeds out. We got troops and, yeah, it's like things are accelerating. and the economy is slowing down. Someone said stop economic growth and you stop global warming. That means bring it to a complete halt in whatever way possible, really, if you think about it. Um, you got a lot of rain, clean up for weeks. Even have you noticed if you get a lot of snow um, and you have younger adults around and they're used to being in front of a computer or looking at their phones and stuff, and you got something to shovel, they don't want to get out there and do it. They don't. They'd rather play on their phones. They'd rather watch the TV. They don't want to do it. And I think it's been instilled in them. And it's not so much our fault. It isn't, you all. It's the society that we live in. It encourages you to just have fun. There's this show, it's an old cartoon, you know, the Pinocchio, and he kept lying, his nose kept getting bigger. Well, there was a sequel to that, Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night. And he wanted to be free and leave his creator. So he let him go, and he went to this island where there's all this fun stuff. You can do what you want. You can drink, you can smoke, you can play. You can do it all. You can lose yourself in the night. But then he realized he lost his soul. And he would desperately was looking for a way out. And finally he got rescued, more or less. But he was deceived. He was deceived. I don't like that. I watched it one time. It was so dark and dreary, you all. It was. Christine Mott, honey, you up? Yes. Reality is a lot. Will not make it. No, they won't. They do not have it within them. They don't. There will be some who will. Something will snap within them. And they'll realize, okay, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. So I'm going to learn how to use that shovel. I'm going to learn how to use a garden hoe. If you even got one. If you even got one. You might want to get some garden tools, you all. And they're expensive. You might be able to find some cheap ones at a flea market with a heavier, like, metal to it. The shovels nowadays, they're like half as thin as they used to be. You can break the handles on them. You can bend them. They're not good quality. They're not. And you might want to have some good gloves to use. You might have to get down on your hands and knees and do a garden. Even if it's a small 5x5, you might have to do something like that. Because the food, you know, there's no telling what's going to happen with the food. You probably won't be able to go to the store and get the food anyhow. And after that sour cream, yeah, my daughter goes, Mom, we normally bought the Daisy sour cream. You didn't used to buy that, but I bought it that day. I bought that Great Value sour cream, and it does. Somebody wrote in the comment, it looks like the mold that you get sometimes on your shower, the reddish, pinkish like, and I've seen that. I saw that in the comment, so I can relate to that because I've seen that build up on like the shower or something like that. But there's probably something much more to it. The food is not lasting as long. If you have bought like even dried beans, you may notice that they have a they'll go rancid faster too. You can't. It's not long storage. Everything is not lasting long like it used to. And with them being bio-engineered, the crops, even around here, I live in farmland. The crops have a sign. Genetically modified, and they got the numbers on them, and they put them right on the side of the road where their crops are at. And you can ride down the road and you can see these different types of signs of genetically modified crops. You heard distilled water is scarce in Orlando. I think water is getting scarce everywhere. You've got to learn the old ways. If you're a young adult, you like watching Gina Honey, um, you might have to live off the land and you might have to do manual labor. You will probably have to do manual labor. You might want to start doing some push-ups, some set-ups, squats. Push-ups, set-ups, squats. That should get you some strength in your body because chances are you can't do a push-up. You'd be surprised at the amount of people who cannot do a push-ups from young to adult. You cannot lift your own body weight. And I used to do only 10 push-ups every morning. I don't like my lips like this. Hold on a second, you all. I need some chapstick. I'm back. I had to get some chapstick on my lips. Ever since I went to Cancun, the sun was really hot. And I didn't put chapstick on my lips, and my lips got sun damage, and I had a great big sore that formed right there, and I couldn't get rid of it, and it caused permanent mark on my lip, and I don't like it. I don't. There's nothing I can do about it. What was I saying? Yeah, 10 push-ups a day, and it was men's push-ups. That's all I would do every morning, 10 push-ups. And I would lay on the floor. Well, I would lay on the floor, and I would lift my legs up. Just go back and forth like that 40 times, really fast. I'd do that, and I would do 10 squats, and I stretch. That's it. And that's all it took for me to have good strength in my body. Really, if you stretch, you get your muscles used to moving. Had I not been like doing push-ups and leg lifts and stretching and squats, I wouldn't have been able to climb up on that the wood when I built that greenhouse. I wouldn't have been flexible enough. I wouldn't have had the strength enough to pull myself up and do anything. And I admit, I haven't been doing any of this lately. I haven't been doing squats. Only like 10 squats, 10 men's push-ups, and 40 leg lifts and stretching. I haven't been doing that, but I know summer's coming along, and I need to get a head start. I need to start doing it. I need to get my body back in shape. You'd be surprised, and it's going to take a while. If you can't even do one push-up, just start with the women's push-ups. You know, you're on your knees and you just push your body. Just start building up your strength, you all. You really need to do it, and you'll feel a lot better. You will. And watch what you eat. If you got to lose some weight, try to watch what you eat, lose weight. And if you say, well, it costs money to eat healthy, well, just eat some can. Open up a canned good. Eat a can of green beans or corn or peas, or you can make it happen. You can have a potato. You can watch what you eat, even though it may not be so desirable, and you can lose calories that way. You can. Just to stay away from all the fatty foods, the nice salty chips and candy and cakes and cookies and sugary drinks. Yeah, you could do it. You could live off of canned goods and lose some weight. It might not be pleasant. You may not get all the nutrients, but yeah. But please try to get your body in shape. We don't know what's coming. I saw this video. It was somewhere in California. This lady was out in a field, farmland, way out in the middle of nowhere where the farmers farm. For miles, there was these black railroad fuel cars. She said they were loaded down too, because she could tell. They had some kind of something in them. I can't remember what she said. It's hazardous stuff in them, but it went for miles. They don't know where it came from. It pulled up in the middle of nowhere in farmland in California somewhere, and she was talking about what it was near. It was near the water supply is what it was near. where in some kind of lake that California gets the lake or something. The toxic train, is that what that was? Did you see it? And I wouldn't be surprised. And somebody wrote in the comments, one woman was talking about that Bill Gates sold his shares, his stock in some kind of a railroad or something like that. And a few weeks earlier. Good early morning, Jay Joslin. You also, I'm not sure how many people would survive if society were to collapse and you had to you had to go into survival mode and work with your hands. Would you have the strength to do it? Would you even have the tools to do it? Because it takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of endurance. It does. You gotta water it too. You gotta figure out how to water it when you plant stuff and keep the weeds out. You can't just sit there and let's list this. When we lived in Maryland, the military, we lived on Fort Meade, and they had garden plots for the people in the housing set aside, community gardens, and they had water spigots at each area. And you could go over there and sign up for a garden plot, and you could do your garden, plant your vegetables and stuff, water it. They supplied everything you needed. You just needed to do the manpower. I went over there, my neighbor went over there, and she thought, well, this is a great idea. And we got our gardens ready, and we planted our plants. Well, no offense to my neighbor. She was a sweetheart, loved her, still do. My garden looked like something out of a magazine. It was the best garden I've ever had. It was beautiful. The plants were so healthy, so lush, like looking in a magazine, because we would go over there in the evening when the kids get out of school, and we would maintain the garden. We would. And it wasn't that far away, not even half a mile. It was on base. But hers, she lost the endurance, and the weeds grew up everywhere. And it was like, I don't know what happened. She didn't get very much stuff out of her garden at all. She did not. You have to maintain it, you all. And it's got to be something you want to do, because if you don't like doing it, you're not going to want to do it. You won't want to do it. Let's hope that everybody, whether you're young or old, if it comes to that, let's hope that you get the desire within you to want to do that. And don't sit back and let your older family members do it when you are physically able, because this is where it's messed up. It's messed up. You got young children, young adults, and they got more endurance in you. They're fully more capable. Their body's not aching like yours, and you get out there and you're doing stuff and they ain't doing nothing. They're not doing nothing. Or you have a spouse like that and they're not doing nothing. They'd rather let you do all the work because they think, well, you're better at it. They're better at it. They like doing it. Yeah, maybe better at it, may like doing it, but our bodies get wore out. And you should not expect one person to do all the work. You're going to have to come together. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine it? Let's think about it. You had a group of people, and you better be very careful who you let in your group. If you have an apocalyptic group and you have people showing up at your house, and you got some sluggards in there, you got some people who want to bark out orders and not lift a finger, and you got some grumblers. All they want to do is grumble and not lift a finger. You got some really bad people who don't want to help out when everybody else will do it while they sit there and supervise. No, that's not going to get it. That's not going to get it. It's not. You got to come together. You got to work together. You can't just sit there and do nothing while everybody else does the work. Now, some people, when they get older, they can't really do what they normally could. And they're not physically able. If they could, they would in an instant. You're going to have people like that, older people, older adults. who can't physically do that, but they can do other things. They can help out in other ways. They can. But when you have young, able-bodied people who don't want to lift a finger, or older people who physically able and don't want to lift a finger, that's going to bring the morale down to those who do the work. No, you can't listen, you all. This is a morale thing. That's the fastest way you're going to bring down morale in a community is when you have people who do not want to help. They want to give. They want you to do it all, or they want to take control. And then when you have someone, all you need is like a couple people or one person who is a grumbler to work their way in there. And if other people have a tendency to be like that, they'll try to win them over, and then they'll try to gather more, and then they'll take over. They'll take over. This is like survival on the deep end. Now, see, you got to watch out for those type of mindsets people. You got to be strong enough to stand up against those type of people and say, no, you're not doing it. This is how it is. You're going to do this, or you're going to get out. You're leaving. It's going to come down to it. It's going to come down to it. And people have already experienced that. You've even experienced it in your own homes. Even in workplaces, you got people who do not want to work. It's like that when I went to work. It's like I was doing the work of 4, 5, 6 people. 6 people. I could do as much work as those 6 people who sat on their rear ends and did the bare minimum. Well, I did it. And then they complained because I was making them look bad. They literally complained. And I thought, oh my gosh, you all. There's people like that. No, they get amongst themselves and they decide what the work quota is going to be. How much effort each person's going to put forth. That way they can set the quota. You'll have people like that. They don't want to work hard. They don't. Hello. That's right, you all. Yeah, so sorry about that. That really bothers me when you get some people who do not want to lift a finger, who want everybody else to do the work. No, it's not happening. You'll find out that if you're a type of person like that, you're going to find out really quick. You think you're going to go around others and expect things to be given to you, and you not work for it. You not lift a finger because you just don't know how. Well, you're going to find out really fast how to do it. You will. You're going to be taught. And you ain't going to like it. You will not like it if you're a person who does not like to work, who does not like to lift a finger, who don't have the strength. Well, you're going to build up some muscles really fast. You will. It's like going to boot camp. They're going to make a man and a woman out of you. You go to boot camp in the military, they ain't got time for wimps. They don't. They don't, you all. And it's sad you have to think like this. But if you want to survive in a world that is collapsing, and when society collapses, and it's not just that, you all, there's going to be all kinds of things you're going to have to think about. You're going to have to think about how do you defend? How do you defend what you've got? How do you? You're going to have some people who know about defense. You do, but you can't have no mean, hateful people. You can have strong, bold people, but let's hope and pray to God they got some love in their body, and they're not the other way around. Yeah. You need to, you got to be a warrior in your mind. You do. And you got to watch out for those around you. You do. You do. You're going to have to get a tribal thing going on, you all. You do. Like a community, like-minded. You got to get that connection, and you got to solidify it. About running out of steam, you all. It's 2 something in the morning, 3 something, 4 something in the morning. Oh, my goodness. You don't want to be in the city at all. You know what happens in the city. They burn down the towns and stuff. They burn down the stores, bust out windows. They get violent. They get really violent in the cities. But it's a handful. It's always a handful that wreak havoc and bring havoc. A handful. That's who you got to worry for. Those type of people. The violent gangs. And they can make their way into the countryside too. They can. If society were to collapse and you live in the country, it would take, what they say, around 1.5 to 2 days for the people to start leaving the city to make their way into the country. That's what they said. And even if they have to walk, they'll start making their way. It'll take a little longer. The further out you are, it'll take a little bit longer to get to you, but there will be a mass exodus if you can even get out of the cities. And if you even get the strength to walk. Yeah, some people can't walk. We've gained too much weight, and really we have. And listen, it reminds me of this verse. They fatten themselves up for the day of slaughter. That's a verse in the Bible. It reminds me of that Wall-E cartoon. I watched it one time, and I didn't like it at all. It was very depressing. The people got on a ship, and they went to space, and they were all flying around on these things. They didn't do nothing. They were all way, way overweight. The robots did everything for them because the Earth was contaminated. When they came back, they wanted to see if it was any better, and they waddled out of the ship that they were in, the UFO, their airship. And they decided, well, now we can plant. But that's what happened. That's what happened. It's very bleak. Cannon fodder. You can't, Christine, honey. Great. Christine, honey, you blow yourself up. It wouldn't matter then. Oh my. That's okay. That's a little extreme. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, you all. Yeah. That Christine Mott, that was funny. That was. You wonder if you could own a grenade. Well, you probably can have a ball bat. They're in those type of scenarios. You could have a ball bat. People do use a ball bat. Yeah, it's time for bed. Go to bed, you all. Gina, you need to go back to bed too. That's okay, Christine, honey. You're right. Your heart's in the right place. That's right. You want to survive. Even if you have to use a grenade, you want to survive. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I'm setting in it. I can't lean back in it, but I don't need to. I don't need to get that comfortable because when you get a little bit too comfortable, it's comfortable. But yeah, I don't want to get too comfortable because I wouldn't want to do anything. That's right. Hello there, old writer. You all. So yeah. Yeah. Also, you got to have copies of important documents too. You want to have an extra copy of all your important documents. I had started doing that years ago. If you had to bug out or something, you had to leave. I started making copies just in case. But then, I don't know about that either. Yeah. Dennis, we're going to need somebody. That's right. We're going to need some strength, otherworldly strength to make it. That's right. So I am going to go. I'm getting tired, but really, some people won't be able to make it. if society were to collapse, and it probably will collapse. It's getting harder. Jobs are getting more scarce, and they already predicted by 2025, the majority of jobs that we currently do right now will be done by AI and robots. They will take over the majority of the jobs. And that's when the universal basic income has to come into play, and they got to do something with all the what did he call the people? The useless people. That's what they called us. Humanity. A segment of humanity. The useless people. That's how they defined us. So that's what they think of us. That's the mindset of the handful. Useless people. They're going to find out who's useless one day. They will. And it will be that type of mindset, because the world no longer will have room for that type of mentality. That's right, you all. That's right. That's right. It's okay. This might be their time, but one day they won't have no more time, because their time will be up, and they'll no longer get to call the shots on the earth. Okay, they won't. They'll no longer be calling the shots. They think that they've got the future, their whole lifetimes ahead of them. No, they don't. They don't. It's not going to turn out the way they think. It may look like it's going that way, and it might last a little bit, but it will not last as long as they think. It won't. So I'm going to go, you all. We just got to get ready, and I hope that we all can get that survival instinct within us, if it comes right down to it. And I hope those who are younger than us also get it, and I hope that they get the survival skills they need, build their strength up, and realize, hey, if I want to survive, I've got to get with it. That's right, because I can't continue to sit there, play on my phone, and look at the computer and stuff. I gotta do what they used to do back in the old days. Yeah, like that, the Amish way, and they're very hard workers. You won't see no overweight Amish worker. You won't. You might see the older people who, the 50s, 60s, because they have to do all the cooking and stuff, and they have so many children, and the children help out. But yeah, it's very rare to see anybody overweight in the Amish community. They work when they can start walking. There's always something for them to do. That's right. They'll make it. They will. So I'm going to go, you all, and I might try to go back to sleep. I should. That's right. And with that being said, a hello wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, night. Good night. Christine, my honey, you won't have to use a grenade, okay? You can probably get a ball bat and something. Yeah, you can get a cheap ball bat. Get you an aluminum ball bat. It's lightweight. You can probably get them at the thrift store for like, I don't know, $3 or something. That'd be your best bet. And that would save you, it might save your life if you use that instead of a grenade, okay? You can do it.